He was one of the most beloved and influential figures in the history of cinema. His iconic character, the Little Tramp, made millions laugh and cry around the world. He was a comic genius, a visionary filmmaker, and a controversial figure. He was Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin, better known as Charlie Chaplin. Born in London in 1889, Chaplin rose from poverty and hardship to become a global superstar. He started his career in music halls and vaudeville before moving to Hollywood in 1914. There, he created his signature character, the Little Tramp, a vagabond with a bowler hat, a cane, and a mustache, who always got into trouble and mischief, but also showed compassion and dignity. Chaplin wrote, directed, produced, and starred in his own films, such as The Kid, The Gold Rush, City Lights, Modern Times, and The Great Dictator. He was admired for his artistic vision, his social commentary, and his humanism. He was also criticized for his political views, his personal scandals, and his conflicts with the authorities. He was accused of being a communist sympathizer, a moral degenerate, and an enemy of America. He faced censorship, lawsuits, and deportation. He left the United States in 1952 and settled in Switzerland, where he spent the last 25 years of his life. He died on Christmas Day, 1977, at the age of 88. Chaplin was mourned by his family, friends, and fans. He was buried in a simple grave in the cemetery of Coursier-sur-Vevey, a small village in the hills above Lake Geneva, near Lausanne. His widow Una and his 8 children wanted to respect his wish for a modest and private funeral. They hoped he would finally rest in peace. But they were wrong. On March 2nd, 1978, 2 months after his death, Chaplin's grave was robbed. 2 men dressed in black dug up his coffin in the middle of the night and drove away with it in a car. They left behind a gaping hole and a stunned community. The grave robbers were Roman warders, a 24-year-old Polish refugee, and Gancho Ganev, a 38-year-old Bulgarian immigrant. They were both unemployed car mechanics who dreamed of opening their own garage. They thought they could make a fortune by kidnapping Chaplin's corpse and demanding a ransom from his family. The kidnappers contacted Una Chaplin and asked for $600,000 in exchange for the return of her husband's body. They threatened to harm her 2 youngest children if she did not comply. Una refused to pay, saying that her husband would have found the demand ridiculous. She also said that she had faith in the Swiss police, who were working hard to solve the case. The police tapped the Chaplin's phone and traced the calls to public booths in the region. They also set up roadblocks and searched for clues in the cemetery and the surrounding area. The police finally located the kidnappers and arrested them on May 17, 1978. They confessed to their crime and led the police to a cornfield in Noville where they had buried Chaplin's coffin. The police recovered the coffin and verified that the body inside was indeed Chaplin's. They returned it to the Chaplin family, who reburied it in the same grave, but this time in a concrete vault to prevent any future theft attempts. The kidnappers were tried and convicted of grave robbing and attempted extortion. Wardus, the mastermind of the plot, was sentenced to 4.5 years of hard labor. Ganev, who had a lesser role, was given an 18-month suspended sentence. They both expressed regret for their actions and said they were inspired by a similar crime they had read about in an Italian newspaper. The Chaplin family was relieved and grateful that the ordeal was over. They thanked the police, the media, and the public for their support and sympathy. They also said they forgave the kidnappers and hoped they would learn from their mistake. The public was shocked and outraged by the desecration of Chaplin's grave. They also expressed admiration and respect for Chaplin's legacy and his contribution to the art of cinema. They remembered him as a genius, a legend, and a hero. Charlie Chaplin's body was stolen, but his spirit lives on. His films are still watched and loved by millions of people around the world. His character, the Little Tramp, is still a symbol of hope and resilience. His message of laughter and humanity is still relevant and inspiring. He was and still is one of the greatest artists of all time.